Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Packers, Cowboys, this coming Sunday night football. Obviously, a lot of the talk back and forth between Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. You got Kenny Clark going up against his former team as well. Packers returned to practice yesterday, and the only three DNPs were Zach Tom, who Adam Schefter has reported won't be playing this weekend, which is probably no surprise, right? I think we all kind of knew that, especially heading into a bye week after that. Aaron Banks did not participate. Javon Bullard still in the concussion protocol. He was also a do not participate. So with all that, we'll find out more if anybody's able to maybe try to do something at practice today, or hopefully, knock on wood, nobody gets added to the injury list or gets a DNP on there. I've got my keys to victory for the Packers going up against the Dallas Cowboys coming up Sunday night. My first key to victory for the Packers: pressure, pressure, pressure. Get after Dak. Now, Packers defense, one of the best in the National Football League. And seriously, when is the last time we got to say that? More than just like 1 week. When is the last time we got to say this Packers defense is one of the best, if not the best, at getting after the quarterback? Dak is very susceptible to making stupid throws, throwing interceptions, and to get that to happen, it starts up front. It starts with that defensive front. It starts with Micah Parsons going up against his former team. The trickle-down effect from Parsons. Gary's off to a fantastic start. Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, and don't forget about Enoch Barre. Kiki. He's quietly having a very solid season. Limited role, limited snaps, but in those limited snaps, he has been off to a really, really good start so far this season. So get out, especially with Tyler Booker probably not playing in this game. Get after Dak. Make it uncomfortable for him. What we saw Cleveland do to Jordan Love last week, I want Green Bay to be doing to Dak in Dallas this week. Get after him, and that's what's going to feed into the second key to victory: creating turnovers. This Packers defense has been awesome in a lot of areas, except one. And it's an area that has been a goal of theirs since Jeff Hafley became defensive coordinator. And that is creating turnovers. They want to lead the league in creating turnovers or getting turnovers. And right now, they're not doing that at a consistent rate. So, get the pressure and try to create those turnovers. Again, Dak will make some questionable throws, and that's kind of putting it politely. Questionable throws, questionable decisions. Get after him and try to create those turnovers. Key 3, Jake Ferguson. Ferguson is off to a solid start this season. And if we've seen the first 3 games from this Packers season, you look at the teams, the opposing offenses that this Packers defense has gone up against, and the corners have done a really, really good job on the receivers. But tight ends have been kind of benefiting a little bit going up against this Packers defense. And now you got Jake Ferguson, who is off to a really solid start this year. You have to try to contain him and to control him, because even with CeeDee Lamb not available in this game, it's probably going to mean more opportunities for Ferguson. They're going to want to try to get the ball to him more times. Remember, it was in that playoff game, too. I know it was a couple years ago, but Ferguson went off in that playoff game. Don't know if it's because Badger going up against the Packers, that sort of stuff. We see that all the time. But try to neutralize, try to not let Ferguson affect the game, be a big player. Question will be who's going to be on him. Javon Bullard, let's assume he's not going to play in the game because he's dealing with concussion. So, who's going to be that guy? Is it going to be a couple guys? I mean, you look at the Packers' 3 games this season, okay? The receiving leader from each team, tight ends. Sam Laporta, week 1. Zach Ertz, week 2. David Njoku, week 3. Now you got Ferguson, who's probably going to be a focal point in the offense with no CeeDee Lamb. Neutralize him. Control him. Don't let him take over this game. Key 4, let's go to the offense. Protection. Again, this is going to be a key for every single game, but for crying out loud, it's in the trenches, man. Games are won in the trenches. And we saw last week exactly how much a poor offensive line or protecting poorly can affect your quarterback, can affect your offense. I mean, Jordan Love was under duress throughout that entire game. 15 quarterback hits, was it? 15 allowed. I mean, the offensive line allowed 15 pressures. Getting sacked left and right. You have to protect Jordan Love. We can't have stupid false start penalties anymore. Okay, I know asking not to have any more is ridiculous and not feasible, but seriously, have to limit the amount of false starts on the offensive side. You cannot back up your offense. You cannot make it more difficult on your offense by having pre-snap penalties. But protecting Jordan Love, limiting those penalties, just playing better overall. And then number 5, hey, let's get Josh Jacobs going. Let's get him going here. Running backs in Green Bay history, going in the last few years or so, playing down in Dallas, they've had some success. Aaron Jones specifically, but running backs tend to have had some decent success going down in Jerry's world. So why not get Josh Jacobs going for this game? I know teams are coming in, opposing defenses are coming in and really keying in on Josh Jacobs and trying to take him out of the game and really forcing Jordan Love to try to win it. And you look at Josh Jacobs' numbers, and it's not for a lack of trying to get Jacobs going. He's tied for second in the NFL for most carries through the first 3 weeks of the season. But he's at 180 yards, tied for 14th. His average is 3.1, 127th, and that factors in a bunch of different stuff in there. So they're giving him the ball, but it's just there hasn't been a lot of room to run. So that, again, probably goes to the offensive line or being effective elsewhere in the offense and opening up more opportunities for Josh Jacobs to get going here. So let's get him rolling. Let's make it a little bit easier on Josh Jacobs, all right? Let's not, hand him the ball and he's got to really fight, because it really seems like it's been like that for the first 3 weeks of the season, really grinding it out and really fighting just to get 3-4 yards at times. Let's try to make it easier on the guy. If we get that running game going and being consistent, let's stabilize the offense then. And teams are going to continue to come in with a purpose to stop Josh Jacobs, to slow Josh Jacobs down until the passing offense, until Jordan Love starts slinging it consistently, moving the ball down the field consistently. But let's try to get Josh Jacobs going here, making things a little bit easier on him. And why not? Why can't it be Dallas? Why can't it be going down to Dallas? I mean, they're allowing 6.5 yards per play. Okay? Looking at some of the other numbers here when it comes to Dallas. Staying on the defensive side here, shall we? When you look at Dallas overall yards, third worst total yards, 397.7. The two worst, Giants Baltimore. Passing yards allowed per game. Dead last, Dallas. Dallas, dead last. 288. The next closest is Baltimore at 266.3. Jordan Love game? Maybe. Rushing yards allowed per game. Dallas is better, obviously, with this. They're about middle of the pack here. But they've been giving up 109.7 on the ground. Points allowed per game. By the way, Green Bay's defense is number 1. Dallas is 6th worst. 30.7 points per game. Look at that. Dallas, I know it's 3 games, a little bit of a smaller sample size, but Dallas's defense is giving up 30.7 points per game. Green Bay's defense, 14.7 points per game. Offensively, Dallas, 4th in yards, 394.3. Sure, some of that's playing from behind, trying to, catch up and that sort of thing. There is that. Passing yards per game, Dallas is 3rd, 268.7. It's going to be a fantastic test. And not having CeeDee Lamb is going to be a big loss. Let's be real. But fantastic matchup, I think, for the Packers defense to really showcase, all right, we've been talking about the corners numbers, right? Valentine, Hobbs, Nixon, 3 games combined, 10 total catches for 92 yards. Here we go. Let's put it to the test. Pass rush. Here we go. Put it to the test. Rushing yards per game. Dallas is just outside top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, just outside top 10. Dallas is 125 yards putting it on the ground. So, points per game, offensively, 24.7. I think the defense that the Packers have matches up well, very well, going up against this Cowboys offense. I think the defense matches up incredibly well. And honestly, I think the Packers offense matches up well against the Cowboys defense. I'll tell you right now, I'm picking Green Bay to win this game. All signs point to Green Bay advantages. It's just they better come in focused, regrouped, not being overconfident and thinking that they got this in the bag. Go in there and dominate. Set the tone early. Matt LaFleur should be very familiar with Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, with his time with the Bears. Should be very familiar with what he wants to try to do on defense. He had better players in Chicago on defense, though, I would say. I mean, talent overall, depth-wise, probably. So it should be a little bit of an advantage to LaFleur, I would think. But I'm going Packers. I gotta go Packers. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?